Hi sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name is Beth, and if you're new, welcome. It's nice to be sewing with you today. Today I added a border to my Roses in Bloom quilt. I love it. I'm going to share with you just the basic recipe of how to put a fence around your flowers. Let's get started. Here's just the basic recipe of how to make that beautiful picket fence to surround your Roses in Bloom quilt. I do have a video about how to make that Roses in Bloom quilt block, and I'll leave that in the description box below. I am cutting my strips 1 1/4 inch wide. I'm using leftover pieces of fabric, so they're all different lengths, but I'm using a green and a yellow, and I'm sewed a long strip of these two pieces together, a yellow and a green, that are 1 1/4 inch wide. After pressing and trimming off the very end, making sure I had a straight edge, I cut this long strip in segments that were 5 inches apiece. My goal was to have 5 or 6 of these little chunks of fabric. I did not always get 5 or 6. Some of my little picket fences are only 3 pieces together, but it worked out in the end. So I just used what I had, and then I sewed these little 2 strips together to make 1 wide picket fence using the same fabrics. As you can see, this little fence, I only had 4 yellows and 4 greens, but that was okay. And then what I did is I cut from the left edge, or the top edge from where we're looking at right now, I cut away from the edge 1 1/2 inches and then 3 1/2 inches. So then I will add the other part of my fence right there in the middle, and I'll use a 1 1/4 inch strip of yellow. Here's my first little picket fence. I'm going to press it, set it aside, and I'm going to make enough of these to go all the way around my quilt. So I used some different greens and some different yellows just to go with that scrappy vibe on this quilt that I made. Now that I think I have the right amount of fencing to go around my rose garden, I'm going to put my rose garden together. I hadn't quite sewn these blocks together yet, so I'm going to sew them together, get my quilt top going, and then add a fence. I used my design wall here and I put all the little fences together, trying to make sure that I had enough, and a couple of sides were a little bit too long, so all I had to do was just trim it off. I didn't do a lot of measuring as I went along. In the corners of my quilt, I want to have some small little roses, so I needed to make some more of my roses that are 5.5 inches to match the size of my fence. Well, I love this golden fence surrounding this rose garden. I may add one more border with some green fabric. I am going to ponder for a few days and think about that. Maybe you can tell me what you think. I think it's really pretty so far. I hope that you were inspired to make a little picket fence for your flower garden as well. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.